May the grace of
God bless man and every woman in the land. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, know the darkness can't defeat us. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end is coming,
said our souls are running, but I say, stay strong, keep your faith alive. Let others,
let's all come together,
take care of each other. Stay strong and keep your faith alive.
Namaste, honor to the divine within and the realization that we are one. Hello, dear friends. We're here transmuting this full moon energy and focusing this full moon energy. This is my dear wife, Chela, the good witch.
Just flew in on my ukulele.
And you see the aliens have been really attacking lately with the thoughts that I should vote for Donald Trump. So I've been wearing this 24/7 to protect me from these alien voices and their alien messages. And everyone knows this is the classic form of psychic protection that's available to us at all time, that we can just save our aluminum foil and mold it to fit the occasion and protect yourself from aliens. Today, though, the topic, we're going to take a lighthearted look at a really serious topic. And then we'll be chanting a number of protective mantras, including for many of us learning a couple of new protective mantras. So first of all, we want to understand these planetary cycles. We understand that the planet is close to 80% water, and your body as a microcosm of the same cosmic forces is also close to 80% water. And because the Earth is rather dense, the waters of creation, so to speak, are attuned to the moon and are run by the cycles of the moon. Certainly you see the way the oceans move back and forth with the waters of the moon. And we've all observed that our emotions move, expand and contract with the cycles of the moon. So full moon is a time when the moon is angled towards the sun, and that energizes the waters. And again, your body is close to 80% water and is energized by this force. So this is the liveliest, most expansive, most outgoing time of the month. But it's also, because of this energy, there's a cleansing that takes place as your radiance scatters all sorts of things in every direction. And as we're challenged to handle this expansive state. So a lot of us define ourselves by our lunar moment. And again, we're honoring this full moon, the incredible energy that comes to us at this peak of our energy cycle. And we're honoring the cleansing that comes from the full moon and the messages it gives us about self-care and psychic protection. So we're going to take a journey today talking about a few aspects of psychic protection. It's a big topic. Grounding in psychic protection begins with knowing thyself. Okay, that's really the foundation. So that if you are water predominant, if you have a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio sun, more important, moon, or rising sign, then you're what we call a sensitive. If you have a lot of planets in the 8th house, or watery planets in the 8th house, you're again something of a sensitive. And as a sensitive, water is a medium for consciousness and a medium for energy. And again, our bodies are close to 80% water. So if you're a water sign rising, that mean your body is really entrained with water. Or if you have a water sign moon, the moon is what moves you emotionally. It's what runs you emotionally. So if you have a water sign moon, you're again a sensitive and really, really a medium. It's just like you can take a cup of water, a glass of water, and it's translucent. There's a way in which you're translucent for the energy around you. And you probably been dealing with issues around psychic protection when you were a child and you knew too much. You could see your feet, you could feel the future, and you knew too much what's going on with people psychically. You could feel their feelings. So we're talking about the foundation of this knowing thyself. Now the second foundation of psychic protection is something your mother probably never taught you, unless your mother was a bit of a witch, which is likely, which is psychic etiquette, which is to stay out of other people's psychic space unless they've invited you in as a professional or as a psychic. So if you can feel other people's pain, no. You're not supposed to be in their psychic space. Feeling other people's pain is crazy making. Do you get that? Anytime you catch yourself feeling other people's pain, take a deep breath and suck your field in. Okay, just take your hands and take a big inhale and draw your energy in, and that intention will certainly do that. If you take a course in psychic development, the first thing they teach you is to carry around your own psychic envelope. They say, like, take a rose. A rose is like a queen of the flowers with those really sharp thorns and compelling beauty. So picture yourself in this rose, in this red rose or pink rose or whatever gives you protection. So that anytime you find yourself in someone else's space, knowing too much or feeling their madness, and again, this has to do with knowing yourself and knowing what your own psychic contents are. Many, like, we're body workers and we're very intimate with our clients energetically. So if you feel these thoughts coming into your head, sexual or emotional or crazy making thoughts, say, wow, this is not me. This is not my usual psychic space. I have let myself move into that other person's psychic space. Some body workers will begin by noting the difference between and building a barrier, building a boundary between them and their contacts. You may have to develop a boundary with your mother or your sister or your child, someone who you really are in train with on a DNA level, and cultivate that boundary. If you have a lot of problems with pain in the neck here, a lot of tension on your left side, ask, who has a psychic hook into me? Who's trying to control myself? Who do I have to protect myself? This knot here is my protection against that whiny brat that I brought into the world and love so dearly. So you really want to understand knowing yourself, knowing your mind, knowing your body, as a foundation for psychic protection, and understanding that everything that goes on in your body is a reaction to your environment. Yeah, I know about the germ theory, but on another level, your receptivity to that germ theory, or even that accident, very much influenced by your psychic space, what you bring to the table psychically. So I hope that provides the first foundation for beginning to think about psychic protection. Questions or thoughts about that particular rave? Now, the next thing that really influences our psychic space is what you put into your body. Just like your body is a vehicle for spirit, okay? And is this, even though your body's been changing, you've been you since you've been just this glorious toddler, this wild and crazy teenager, this empowered adult, this crusty old guy. You've always been you in spite of the changes in your body. I am not what I appear to be. So what we're saying is that your body is a vehicle for a unique spirit, and everything is a vehicle for a unique spirit. For roses, we could talk about the rose archetype that creates an infinity of roses. And again, one of our basic premises here is that you are the face of God, that you are the face of the goddess, that each of us is the personification of an instant of creation. But in any case, we're talking about how everything you put in your body is a vehicle for a spirit, that you truly are what you eat. I believe in evolution, that the way evolution works as an expression of ultimate intelligence is when you eat something, it now has you as a vehicle, okay? So when that eagle eats a lizard, that lizard is now flying as a part of that eagle, and that lizard spirit has made a leap in its evolution, that there's some small truth there, okay? So that you're very much a vehicle for what you put in your body. No, you're not smoking that cigarette. That cigarette deva has gotten a hold of you as a vehicle and is smoking you. So one of the things we're saying is that every kind of spirit, and we can tell about the spirit by looking at the results. Every time a spirit is either coherent, brings you into soul communion, brings you into essence, brings you into yourself, or promotes incoherence. So obviously we think of extreme substances, creating extreme yin, extreme openness, extreme expansiveness, and the problems that can cause. So think about alcohol and the incoherence that arises from an extreme spirit like that. Or we, of course, think about all the incredible psychedelics and how much the environment. We once had Tim Leary come to Heartwood to lecture. It was the only time we had the Christians picketing us in all our years. I like, some of my best friends are Christians, please. It was the only time we were picketed and got a few hate calls here and there. But, you know, by those standards, it was impressive. By today's standards, our hate calls were nothing. But what Dr. Leary said was that more important, that the substances only amplify your own conscious state. So we want to realize that the substances, and he was talking, and he had a spectrum from sugar and coffee to LSD and to some things. I think if he were around today, he'd be very happy to see the expansion of the options and the popularity of the options. But he was saying that these substances amplify or make more coherent who you are already. So we're talking about one of the foundations of psychoprotection, both what you put in your body and then the context in which you put things in your body. Understanding, as in Ayurveda, everything around you is energy. And everything is either nourishing or toxic. My mother-in-law is nourishing. My mother-in-law is toxic. You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you may have to look at your friends or your environment or your housekeeping and ask, you know, what are the elements of this that are toxic, and what are the elements of this that are nourishing, and do some housekeeping around that as well. So now I thought we would begin with one of the 3 protective mantras that we're going to focus on. This mantra, we say, she who protects those who sing of her. Do you hear that? She who protects those who sing of her. So just by chanting her name, you invoke her sacred presence. In the wisdom of ancient India, there's virtually nothing more powerful in this creation than the name of the divine. There is, again, sage after sage after sage will pontificate on how there's absolutely no difference between that mystery and the invocation of that mystery. You know, we grow up in the West, we grow up in a paradigm that says, oh, there's some heaven, there are gods in heaven, and we're just material down here. But the ancient wisdom says heaven is right here, that this isn't, that what you are experiencing right now is totally divine, and invites you to cultivate a consciousness in which you experience that. And a lifestyle in which you experience that. It's only the sad fact of our brainwashing that has convinced us, and a lot of outside circumstances, as we become terrified by our circumstances that have turned this heaven into a hell. Everywhere you go in nature, it's a heaven. You know, it has some intense shit happening, but still, it's a heaven. And how did we, humanity, manage to turn this heaven into what we're seeing around us? But there's always a choice. So even in the most challenging circumstances, heaven is available to us through mantra yoga. One of the fundamental rules of mantra is what your mind dwells upon, you become. That the world emerges from this eternal presence, and you always, that the power is in the now, the power is in this moment. What your mind dwells upon, you become. The power is now, the power is in this moment. This moment is the point of power. Even contemporary physicists, in this moment, you take from infinite possibilities and you make real through your consciousness, your presence, your intention. So she who protects those who sing of her. I was with this sage and they kept his arm in a silk bag because his arm was so precious, because he chanted his rosary so many times that they were sure that there was a molecular and a cellular transformation, that if he touched you with that arm, you would electrify, you'd feel the grace in his arm. So the mantra, she who protects those who sing of her, is the Gayatri mantra, which is the queen of mantras. And I thought I'd start off with a mantra that many of us know. And we would just chant a little bit of the Gayatri mantra to put us in the mood. Right.
May the grace of
God bless man and every woman in the land. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, know the darkness can't defeat us. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end is coming,
said our souls are running, but I say, stay strong, keep your faith alive. Let others,
let's all come together,
take care of each other.
Stay strong and keep your faith alive.